Hi there. It's me being all spooky and Scorpio and Halloweeny. Hi. We're in Scorpio season. It's a Scorpio new moon. And Scorpio is just this amazing sign that deals with the black and white issues of life. And it rules lots of interesting things, or is associated with lots of interesting things that are deep and meaningful to us in life and in afterlife. And it has an awful lot to teach us, and I can only briefly cover Scorpio here. Now, Scorpio is a water sign, and it's manifested water. And in astrology, water is the astral realm. So during Scorpio, the astral manifests. Okay, sometimes called the thinning of the veil. The veil, we can see more easily between the hidden world, the unseen world, and the physical seen world during the time of Scorpio. Now, we all have Scorpio in our chart, so it's more accentuated if you have planets there, such as the Sun. That means you're a Sun sign Scorpio. But any of the planets can reside there and add that scorpionic energy to you. And the more planets that are there, the increased state of that energy is within your physical being. And I know when I used to teach astrology, beginning students always found it sort of a little bit strange. Scorpio was a water sign because it was so passionate. They wanted it to be a fire sign. It is ruled by fiery Mars, but it is actually a water sign because it is the manifested astral. It has so much to teach us about how we actually, as beings, how we create things here, how we bring in, where we invest ourselves creates. And it deals with life and death. There's no doubt about it. It deals with life and death. And in traditional astrology, it's said to rule sex and death. And if you think about it, you realize that sex is the beginning of a new soul coming into this realm, and death is the soul leaving and shedding its earthly cocoon, its earthly carcass, and returning to the unseen realm. Now, this juxtaposition between seen and unseen is the nub of Scorpio. It truly is. And so it rules things like detection. If you want to investigate something and get down, drill down into it and find out the truth, that's a scorpionic state of mind. And in astrology, all planets are seen as having intelligence. And so Scorpio's intelligence is Martian. It's driven, it's rapier-like. I can't say it's always quick, but it's penetrating. It will get there, yeah, and will apply itself. And I know when I was studying astrology, the thing that absolutely blew me away was my mum was Scorpio, so I kind of felt that I had a bit of a handle on Scorpios, you know. And in the Nevada desert, when they tested nuclear bombs in the Nevada deserts, the scorpions survived. There is the message of Scorpio. There is no death. Okay, it's our fear of death that keeps us chained. If we can overcome that, combine the seen and the unseen, and live in that state of mind, then we're fulfilling Scorpio to its highest vibration. So I've chosen cards this week in the usual way, by shuffling at random, and looking to what we need to shed in order to transition onto our new life, whatever that doesn't mean death, but every part of life is a little bit of death of something and then new life there. Your body's doing it all the time, it's renewing. And so it's good to keep that in mind and to keep that progress going. So here we have some very interesting cards coming up for Scorpio, new moon, Diwali, Halloween, All Saints' Day, whatever your belief patterns, is a very significant time of the year. So for our personal lives, okay, this would be the High Priestess in a normal deck. And it speaks largely about our intuitive abilities and our ability to see beyond the veil. Isn't that just neat? I just love this. You know, just pick up cards at random and energies flow and they flip. Completely pertinent every time. It never fails. So, we this week are being encouraged to explore our intuition more. Scorpios are good at this. They rely on their gut feelings with things, okay? Go with your first instinct. That's a Scorpio. So it's time for us all to do that, to start using our intuitional abilities, because it's there. It might not be measured in scientific terms. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, okay? Science has a long way to go yet. Quantum theory is probably getting there, but old style empirical science is really dragging its heels on where human consciousness is concerned, okay? So human consciousness is the stuff that this world is made of, really. So rely on your intuitive abilities, okay? And I think what it was saying when I picked it up, it was saying that you're all interested in that. You all want to be able to see beyond what is for various reasons, and some because they want to communicate with the dead, with blood relatives, maybe, or just the dead in general. So one of the things I do quite often with myself is I think of somebody from the past whom I would like to speak to, and then I have an imaginary conversation with them and see what they have to suggest to me about things. John Dee, the Elizabethan astrologer, is a popular person for me to talk to. Because I know there is no time, I also go forward to future Daphnes and ask them things as well. So use your intuition, your imagination. That's what you have it for. Yeah? It's to help you grow and expand your awareness and understanding of who you are and your purpose. Scorpio is such a purposeful sign. On this new moon, it's really, the essence of it is what's your purpose, okay? So here's a chance to discover something about that. Now, rather like death, we have to do those sort of things on our own. Nobody can do it for us. Doesn't matter how many people tell us this, that, and the other. Doesn't count. Scorpio has to do it, okay? So like with death, you're there on your own. You do it. You transition. So it's the same with intuition. Whatever style suits you, use it. Yeah? There's no rules about these things. It's one of the wonderful things about it. So the tarot is seeing us as intuitive beings. Beings who are able to see beyond the veil, into the past, into the future. Yeah? The immediate future is only just trickling in from the astral realm, and so immediate future is quite predictable. And you can watch television and just predict what's going to be next. I mean, not the program, but what's going to happen next if you're watching something you haven't seen before, which is, I admit, quite hard to do on television nowadays. But those little things, set yourself competitions when you're driving as to the colour of the next car you're going to see, or whatever takes your fancy. And just start to notice, depending on where you're at, which stage, that's the very beginning, that's a beginning stage I'm giving you there, okay? So those of you that are more experienced can move on and definitely apply your intuition during this week. Yeah. Along with this card, always goes the teaching that things happen in their right moment of time. There's a lot of stop-start around at the moment. Mr. Johnson wants an election, whatever his name is doesn't, those sort of things. It's going on in America too, and it's going on in our personal lives. It's the vibe of the moment. The ruler of Scorpio, Mars, is squaring to Saturn. Mars is the accelerator, Saturn is the brake. And along with that, we have a Uranus opposition that really wants to mix things up, okay, and enlighten everything. So get in there and mix things up for yourself, yeah? Look at things differently. Take a different perspective on things in your personal life this week, yeah? And try and see the future or whatever. Communicate with ancestors. Use these energies that are around now so powerfully, and think about your purpose, because you invest in your purpose unconsciously or consciously. And the more consciously you invest in your purpose, the more joy. Yeah. Okay, so personal life, really potent stuff. Work life, again, we must all be such really good people in our work. We must all have good jobs. Now this I call work, but it's whatever you do that serves others. Yeah, it doesn't have to be paid work. It's anything you do outside of the personal, outside of your home, really. Although some of us do work from home, of course. And here we have, this is a very Scorpionic vibe. It's about investing. You know, if you've planted something, the sun comes along and draws it up, and that happens naturally, okay? But protecting it and keeping it clean from weeds or anything negative, it's down to you, isn't it? So this is about focusing on the positive sides of your work life. It's exceedingly productive. So I think we're all getting on with new projects. Excellent time for starting new projects just now. In nature's calendar, Scorpio, now, where animals tend to have sex, apparently, and certainly the deer up locally has been going on. And for humans, 9 months later, babies appear, which is in the sign of Mother, Cancer, the moon sign itself. So in midsummer. So it is time. It's time to plant things that you might want to harvest later. It is seen as this is the new year. This is the beginning of the new year in nature's calendar. Yeah. So what you're planting now will grow over the next 9 months, come to fruition next summer. So that's worth investing in, taking some time to make sure what you're planting is what you want to plant, and that it brings out the right skills in you, and that you do have the right skill set. I think this card says you do. You're very, very much the right skill set. So, and what you do will be supported by higher forces, like the sun draws out the plant. So the higher forces will draw out the best in you, bring the right people to you, the right opportunities to you. So brilliant. Yeah, good. And good for earning money, good for actually making things that are lucrative. It's a good work card, that. And then for the world stage, this deck calls this, is it called Father of Earth? Yes. It would normally be the King of Pentacles. So things at the moment on the world stage are going to be about resources, financial resources and natural resources, and the need for stability. And I think both sides of the Atlantic, that's what we're seeking. We're rather tired of all this will we, won't we, what's going on-ish stuff. And so now it's very much a time for doing what works, yeah, focusing what is already productive and committing to that. So regarding things that are going on around you, not to get destabilized by them, but to put down roots in what works for you. I know what works for me is I don't watch the news. I'm being facetious. What works is stuff that's already been working, and I know for me that's grounding. Yeah, so get yourself grounded, and that ties in with this as well. So our work is going to possibly get world recognition. Yeah, so plant your seeds and give them that stability, give them that continual, steadfast nurturing, and keep negatives underfoot. Yeah, the earth loves negatives. Give them to her. Put negatives down beneath you, and you'll find that a much more fertile place to be. Certainly regarding politics, just give it to Mother Earth. Yeah, she likes that. And just keep yourself in a stable state by remaining grounded and practical about what you're doing. Well, I hope you found that interesting, and I hope I don't look too spooky here. If you would like a personal reading, I'm always available. Well, no, I'm not, but most of the time, if you get in touch, I will make time for you. And hopefully I'll see you all again next week. I hope you have a good week. Lots of love. Namaste. Bye-bye.